The phone was right there. Face up. Silent. He saw the call and still didn't touch it. The phone stayed where it always stayed. Face down. Near the edge of the table. It had been placed there earlier. Without thought. The same motion. The same spot. A habit formed long before this day. Repeated so often it no longer carried intention. The table carried small signs of use. A faint ring where a cup once sat. Dust that never fully left. Nothing about the room asked for attention. He moved through the space quietly. Not careful. Just quiet. The kind of quiet that comes from knowing every step, every reach, every pause. Shoes set aside. Sleeves pushed up. The light remained unchanged. Not bright. Not dim. Enough. The phone did not light up. At least, not where his eyes were. He leaned against the counter and waited for something unnamed to pass. It usually did. A feeling, maybe, or the sense that something needed to be done. Waiting had become a private skill. He was good at it. Good at letting minutes soften into background noise. The chair across the room stayed empty. It always did. Sometimes he noticed it. Sometimes he didn't. Today, it blended into the walls. Another object that knew its place. He checked the time once. Not on the phone. On the clock above the doorway. It ticked evenly. No hurry. No warning. The day held no edges yet. Outside, something moved. Not enough to look at. Just enough to register his motion. He stayed inside. There was no reason to step out. No plan pulling him forward. The phone remained face down. There had been days when he kept it close. Days when it rested in his palm longer than necessary. Those days were not remembered clearly. They had thinned out over time, replaced by something flatter, quieter, safer. He rinsed the glass, set it upside down. The surface beneath it was already dry. For a moment, his hand hovered near the table. Not reaching, just near. Then it pulled away. The motion ended without consequence. The room returned to stillness. Nothing had happened yet. That was the point. The phone stayed silent again. The afternoon stretched without announcing itself. Light shifted along the wall in a way he did not track. It changed anyway. The room adjusted around him while he remained where he was, moving only when a task required it. Each motion had a reason, even if the reason had thinned over time. He folded something that did not need folding. Straightened something already straight. These small acts filled space. They gave the hands something to finish. The phone stayed where it was. Still face down. Still near the edge. At some point, the sound of water ran longer than necessary. The sink filled and emptied. The glass returned to its place. He did not look toward the table. Not because he avoided it. Because there was nothing new to see. The chair was moved slightly. Not on purpose. Just enough to notice later. He paused, then left it where it landed. Imperfection no longer demanded correction. Time passed in fragments. A few minutes here. A longer stretch there. None of it registered as loss. It all felt neutral. Acceptable. He sat, then stood again. The air felt the same either way. There had once been a habit of checking. A reflex. Almost. That habit had faded quietly, without resistance. It hadn't been replaced. It simply left, like something that stopped knocking after too many unanswered doors. The phone remained untouched. Its weight pressed into the table, steady and unchanging. No sign asked for attention. No sound cut through the room. The space held itself together without interruption. He stepped into the other room briefly. Not far. Just enough to break the line of sight. When he returned, nothing appeared different. The table looked the same. The phone kept its position. A faint sense of something unfinished hovered, then dissolved. He did not chase it. Letting things pass had become easier than naming them. Evening approached without ceremony. He glanced at the clock again. The hands had moved. That was expected. Everything else stayed exactly where it had been left. The phone remained face down. Something had happened earlier. Not loudly. Not in a way that demanded memory. The room carried a slight imbalance now. Almost nothing. A difference so small it could be mistaken for imagination. The kind of shift that revealed itself only when nothing else was happening. He stood near the table longer than before. Not staring. Just existing beside it. The phone was still there. Face down. The same angle. The same quiet weight. His fingers rested on the surface of the table. Not touching the phone. Close enough to feel the space around it. The air felt unchanged, yet heavier in that small area. As if something had passed through and left a trace without leaving proof. There had been a vibration. Earlier. Or maybe there hadn't. The memory arrived without certainty. It did not replay as sound or movement. It arrived as a gap. A blank where something should have been. He turned the phone over. The screen stayed dark. No light. No sound. Only the reflection of the room. Slightly distorted. He unlocked it slowly, without urgency. The motion felt unfamiliar, like using a tool that had not been held in a while. The screen woke up. Icons appeared. Order returned. Then it settled. One missed call. No name that offered comfort. No detail that explained itself. Just the record of an attempt. A small symbol marking a moment that had already ended. He did not sit down. He remained standing, reading nothing beyond what was already clear. The call had come and gone. That was all the information offered. No reason. No tone. No urgency preserved. The phone did not explain itself. He checked the time of the call. The numbers aligned with a stretch of the afternoon he could not separate from the rest. It could have happened during the water running, or while the chair shifted, or while nothing happened at all. The phone felt different now. Not heavier, just altered, as if its silence had acquired meaning after the fact. He set it back on the table. This time, face up. The room stayed quiet, but the quiet no longer felt empty. He did not call back. The phone stayed where it was. Face up now. Its screen slowly dimming on its own. The symbol remained. Unchanged. It did not insist. It did not disappear either. It simply waited in the way records do. He moved away from the table and then stopped. The room felt narrower, though nothing had shifted. Walls held their distance. The chair remained slightly out of place. The clock continued its steady work. He stood there longer than necessary, as if time might adjust itself out of courtesy. It did not. There were reasons that surfaced briefly. Practical ones. Sensible ones. The kind that made silence feel responsible. Each reason appeared, then faded before it could settle into certainty. The phone offered no guidance. No correction. Only proof. He returned to the table and picked it up once more. The screen woke again. The missed call still waited, unchanged by his hesitation. No second attempt followed it. No message softened its presence. He set the phone down again. This time, a little farther from the edge. The room accepted the gesture without comment. Outside, the light thinned. Evening completed its slow arrival. The day folded itself away, leaving behind no clear dividing line. Just less of what had been there before. He sat down at last. Not because he was tired, because standing no longer felt useful. The phone stayed visible. Not accusing. Not forgiving. Just present. A quiet witness to a moment that would not repeat itself. Eventually, the screen went dark completely. Nothing else happened. Later, the absence of sound felt heavier than noise ever had. Not dramatic. Just permanent in a way that could not be adjusted. The phone remained silent, and the room learned that silence was now part of its shape. Not every opportunity disappears. Some simply do not return. Quietly. Without warning. If you have ever thought, I should have acted then, this story may have reached you.